Hi guys, welcome to Geek Coding Academy. Today we'll see advanced hoops concept called as a nested and anonymous classes. So in our previous video, we talked about our interfaces in depth and abstraction. If you have not watched that video, please go and watch that video in my channel prior to this. In today, we'll see on what is nested and anonymous classes in Java. So what do you mean by nested or also called an inner classes in Java? Means when you write a class inside of another class, that that class we called as an inner class. Okay. So inner classes are nothing but classes defined within another class. Okay. These allows you to logically group classes that only use like that are used only in one place. Okay. So making code more readable and concise. Okay. So these inner classes can able to access all members of outer classes, including private members. Okay. In our access modifier classes, we talked about on various accesses. There, I told you, right? Like if any field is made as any private, it can only be accessed inside of a class. So in inner class also present inside of a class of a outer class. So inner classes can able to access even the private members of a outer class. So these will provide a tight coupling between an outer and inner classes. So let's see what all types of inner classes we have. There are four types of inner classes in Java. First is non-static nested class or an inner class, and a static nested class, local class, and anonymous class. So we'll see one by one. What do you mean by non-static nested class? That means I've written one class here, class of outer class, and inside this class, I have created one variable called message, which is of type string, and I made it as a private. Private means this field will be accessed only inside of class. So I given some message like allow from the outer class. So I created one more class inside this outer class that is called an inner class, where I declared a method display, which is of type void, means it's not returning anything, and made it as in a public. So inside this method, I am using just printing one statement system.out.println of message passing this variable. This variable is the private member of these outer classes. I already told the inner classes can access all fields, including a private fields of outer class. So here, both these classes are not static. Means static means we can able to use the class, means if we made any static any field or method, I can able to use that without the creating an object. Okay. So generally we need to create an object, then we have to use the field or methods, right? Like if you make any field or method as static, anything as static, you can use without creating an object. Okay. Means a memory gets allocated first for them when you run the application. JVM in Java virtual machine will first create a memory for that, and it will keep it in a static memory. So irrespective of creation of object, you can use that in wherever you want. So here, this is just a normal class I created here, which is not a static. So that is why it is called as a non-static inner class, or simply called as an inner class. Okay. So you can here, this is my driver code. Like I have a main uh, class main, means this is where the control flow will enter. I already told like one class should be public. That is where the JVM control will enter into the class. And I've created a main method. Obviously, like the main public class should have a main method. This is the main class. Here, I'm just creating an object here, outer class of outer, new of outer class. So this object I'm creating, and if I want to access the method present in this inner class or inner method, um, you can see here, these inner class references is in sync with the outer class. So here, um, this is the object reference of an outer class. That outer dot new of inner class, because this is present inside the object of an outer class. So once we create an object, and which is of type outer class dot inner class type. Okay. So then I can able to invoke the method which I returned inside an inner class. Okay. This is all about non-static nested class. We'll see what is static nested class. It is simple, similar to non-static only, but in static nested class, we have an one outer class, and inside an outer class, we created one more class. I made this class as a static, and I created a one more method inside of an the static nested class. I just printing and I'm using in a greeting. Here you need to see guys, like I'm using this variable greeting, right? This greeting is of type static because if you make a inner class as static, it can only access static members of a outer class because I already told statics will get memory before the creation of object. So if you have any field which is in outer class which is of non-static type, then that doesn't inside a memory. So this static can't able to access, right? Like so that's the reason because static come first, so it will only access all static members available in the outer classes. So non-static fields it can't able to access. Okay. So here I make greeting as static, so it is accessing and perfectly it printing up here. So we'll see next type of a in a class is called local class, or also called as a method local in a class. Here the main thing is we are defining class inside a method. Okay, I created one outer class where I declared one method display message and I made it a local message. I created one local message of type string and made it as a final. And as you can see, inside this display message method, I created a one more class. So we called as a local class. Local class means a class which is declared inside a method. And one more thing we need to remember here is these local classes can only access final fields of final members. So that's why I made it as a local message in a final. Final means it just like in a constant. Means we can't able to change its value once declared. Okay. So after that, I'm just in the same method itself, I'm created the object for this class, local class, and I'm printing that message up here. So here in the main method, I'm just creating an object for an outer class and outer dot display message. I'm just invoking the method which I declared in an outer class. Automatically, what this will do is this method will do is in this method definition. So in this method body, I've created a object for an a local class and I'm printing in a print message. This print message accessing the final variable, this local message. So the criteria of a local class is it can only access the final or effectively final fields of a method limit. So if outer class has any field, this local class can't able to access that. It can only access the fields declared as final inside of a method where it belongs. Okay. Let's see another type called anonymous classes. So anonymous classes is nothing but a without name classes. Like we create a class without a name, and this will be like for a temporary use. Okay. So suppose I have one interface I created here, and I have a one method declared here, say hello, because obviously interfaces are having an abstract method. So I just want to create a object for this greeting. Is it possible? No. Why? Because like interfaces we can't create because they don't have any body for methods. So the traditional way is we have to create one more child class which will implement this interfaces class and it will give body for all the methods we declared in this interface. And for the child class, we can able to create an object. That object, this parent class interface name, parent class can able to hold that object reference. That's the concept of runtime polymorphism, or that's the concept of polymorphism that we saw. But suppose I don't have a, I have only one time use, or I need to do a quick action. I don't want to create any child, then implement this interface, then create all these things. So there is a possibility in Java under anonymous class. So in anonymous class, what we can do is I just create using a new operator of that interface greeting. But at the type of creation, we need to give like in the braces, like just like a class definition, we need to open and close the parenthesis, and inside we can override the abstract method declared in that interface, like this say hello, and I'll give a body to it. So I just close the parenthesis. So what it will do is internally, this will act as in a class, child class, and it will overriding this parent class interface, and the reference it will passing to this greeting. So then I can use this reference to print the say hello. Okay. So the anonymous class is a class without a name and it defined and initiated in a single expression. I just defined and initiated within a single expression. It is typically used when you need to override a method of an existing class or an interface for a short duration. Okay. This will be for one time short duration. It will work for both classes also and interfaces also. So summary, we'll see about a summary what we discussed. First, we'll talk about our inner classes we talked. So like inner classes are non-static inner classes are nested class, all are same. Like it will be like we define a class inside of another class, and the inner class will declared out of will declare it inside of an outer class, right? Like there is inner class can have access to all members of a outer classes, including private members. Okay. Static nested class. Static nested class is nothing but like the inner class, we made it as an static. If we made an inner class as static, then it can only access static members of an outer class. Okay. So local class. Local class means we defined inside of a method. Okay. And these class, we it can access only the final or effectively final members of the method. Okay. Method where it belongs. And anonymous classes. This is a unnamed classes. As the name suggests, anonymous class is the class without a name, and it is used to override a methods or interfaces on the fly. Okay, on the fly we can able to create an objects. Each of these inner classes types offer flexibility in organizing and structuring a Java code, enabling Java code more readable and maintainable programs. So yeah, so this is all about theory, guys. Let's come to action. Let's see our code. I'll share my screen. So I created one class called nested and anonymous class where, see here, I just created an outer class where I defined both private and static members, allow from non-static inner class, allow from static nested class. So I created a inner classes inside this outer class. First inner class is I'm not defined it as an static, so this is normal in the class or non-static in the class. It can only access to the even the private members. Okay. So this is a private member message. I'm just accessing up here. And I created one more nested class, which is of type static. Here also, I'm just accessing the static message because I already told static nested class can only access static members. Okay, I'm just accessing a static member, the static message, which I make it as static because static before object creation it gets memory, so it can only access the whatever available. So if this static class gets memory, it can only see what is other static members, those already got memory, so that will be in connection with, and it can't wait until the object get created and all. So that's the reason if you make anything a static, it will only interact with the static. And also I created one more method called a local class. Sorry, one more method I defined inside this outer class where inside this method I made one local message which is of type final. And inside this method, I created a class, which is called as in local class. Here, I'm just accessing this local variable, local message, which is of type final. I already told, like, if you declare a class inside a method, that class, that inner class can only access the final or effectively final members of that method. Okay. And I'm just in the method definition, method body itself, like I'm just creating the object for that inner class, and I'm just calling the display method, what we declared inside the this local class. And I created one more method called um, demonstrate anonymous class method. Okay, here I'm just trying to create a greeting of new greeting. So yeah, yeah, greeting will be there here. You see, it is a interface which I created. I'm just trying to create a greeting of new greeting, but interfaces you can't able to create a object, right? You need to have a child class, but we can make child class on the go. Like I just created a new greeting and open and close parenthesis. I just defined here a class. It doesn't have a name. This class doesn't have a name, just a body. Where I override the method which is declared in this interface. Say hello. I just give a body here on the go, and this object gets created and its reference is passed to this interface variable. Sorry, interface type that is greeting, and I'm printing that method. Say hello. Whatever a body I given here. So in our main class, this is nested anonymous class, main class. Here we have a main method. I'm just calling all the things like a non-nesting. I'm just creating an outer class, and I'm with the help of an outer class, I'm just creating an inner classes object. From inner class, I'm displaying the method. For static, I'm just created an outer class dot static nested class, and using the static nested class, I'm displaying. And for a local classes, just I'm calling the anyway I already created an outer class. I'm calling this method present inside of an outer class. This method consists of any local class where in the method body, I just already created an object for that, and I'm printing that message. And in another classes, I'm just calling that same another method which you declared in outer class. So inside the method, I just created an object for the interface type, where I'm just creating an anonymous class, like unnamed class, and override the methods present in the interface. So let's see the output, guys. Yeah, you can see here, non-static in a class, static in a class, local class, like it's completely working fine. Yeah, guys, like this all about nested class or inner classes. We have four types in summary. Like we have non-static, static, local, and another class. This all about today concept. In our next video, I'll come up with a more advanced concept. Like, thank you for watching a video. Please like and subscribe to our channel. If you like the video, please share it to your friends and colleagues. So thank you for watching, guys, one more time. Like, I'll come up with a more advanced concept in my next video. Till then, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you. Bye.